Hello, everyone. We have I, my Cape Patriot, found this video. It's got to be the greatest gaslighting feminist video in all of history.
Yes.
Thank
Um,
God
I,
it's
I,
only, go ahead, you say.
the genders have got different skills and talents, right? And I've got to give women credit for one thing, like women like this, they're some of the greatest liars I've ever seen. The way they just lie so breathlessly about stuff is amazing. Like, if I was completely ignorant of this subject, I'd believe her. She seems so sincere. It's like, oh yes, this must be true because the way she's saying it. It's
Yes.
complete nonsense. It's complete nonsense.
Yes. Now, this feminist is going to give her take on the nuclear family. So let's get into it.
At some point, as a leftist, I have to comment on women's rights, and since I am a woman.
Hold it. You said something about leftists before, or do you want to?
Yes, I'm gonna make this very clear. Okay, women can't be leftists because of female nature. Women are actually the gender bourgeoisie because, first of all, women practice hypergamy. They go for high status men in relationships. They don't associate with men on their own level, and they most certainly don't associate with men on a lower level to them. It's always a higher level, okay, a higher level. So they can't be egalitarian. They don't like men for the sake of it. That is antithetical to egalitarian concepts, right? And they're forcing men to compete and provide for them while they don't work. Right? Marxists talk about like a surplus labor going to the bourgeoisie, like parasiting off the working class. Women doing this to men is exactly the same. Exactly the same. The female working class and the male working class are not the same. It's not an apples comparison. They've got different contexts. They've got different rights. They've got different economic conditions. Women work less than men, and they do so off the backs of men. You can't be a leftist and a female. The only way you can be a leftist and a female is if you're conscious of your female nature and you fight against it in the name of equality. And if you don't do that, you can't be left wing, period.
And
period.
by the way, I've never seen that ever.
Maybe Esther Valles
did
that when she
Esther
wrote Manipulating
Vilar,
Man.
that's true.
Yes. Look, I'm always willing to be proven wrong, right? I'd more than welcome females like this. I just don't see them because a lot of the female MRAs, they turn up to these tradcons, unfortunately.
Yes. I want
to say one thing. This woman is a tradcon feminist hybrid. She's the worst of both worlds.
Yes. She's critiquing the nuclear family, but at the same time, she wants all the benefits from it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's try and get through it.
This topic is kind of personal to me. Feminism in and of itself is not something that I'm interested in speaking about because of its liberal origins. And
pause.
Yeah, wait, she doesn't like the liberal origins of it.
She doesn't like the liberal. Well, the thing is, first of all, this talk is done by radical feminists who go, moderate feminism is not going too far enough. It's too liberal. It's too bourgeoisie. It compromises with the patriarchy too much and all this nonsense. The reforms of liberal feminism are only superficial. This is absolutely false, right? Liberal feminism has changed society completely and has given women everything they've asked for, more or less. It's given them complete control of the family unit. It's given them privileged access to the job market over men. It's given them privileged access to higher education over men. It's dismantled any gender role that holds women back while keeps all the gender roles that benefit women, right? So it's the best of both worlds for women. It's the feminism is the most successful political movement to ever exist. And liberal feminism is the most successful political movement ever to exist. And the reason why liberal feminism will not challenge capitalism or change capitalism is because females are capitalist in nature. Yes. They're the ultimate capitalists. They're the gender bourgeoisie. They're the privileged, pampered leisure caste.
Come on, we all know that the girls are forever on the shop. You know, they love the material wealth that capitalism brings. And
it's off the bat. It's not just that, right? We all love consumption. You can love consumption and you still want the capitalist system to change, like to be abolished or be made to be better or reformed or whatever. These women are consumer spending off the backs of men. The money's coming from men. That's the main point.
Yes.
Typically go into the lengths and the level of detail that I want to go to. It's not enough to just say that women are oppressed in some vague and specific way and point
Pause.
Yeah, you said this before. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is enough to say women are suppressed in some vague way because it gets them results. Just be vague, nebulous. Don't let yourself be pinned down on particulars. Just say it and say it over again. Then the government will take action on public sentiment about this. And men will have more rights stripped away, like domestic violence policing discriminates against men. Men are more likely to be arrested. Men have got less access to shelters. Men can get booted out their homes without any evidence, just on an accusation, which the police are not obliged to investigate. They can kick men out of their own homes, right? So being vague is more than enough for feminists.
Yeah, exactly. And to tell you the truth, we've been going on long enough that people know a lot of this stuff, like the wage gap or whatever, is bullshit. They know they're lying, but they give it to them anyway. So
statistics is not enough because then my opponents can just point to outliers and establish that women have the equality of opportunity.
No, pause. This is. She's saying women have the equal opportunity, but we actually really don't have it. This is actually a sleight of hand. This is actually gaslighting. What women actually have, it's a false framing. One side's going, oh yeah, you do have your equal opportunity, you do have your equality. The other is going, oh no, we don't. What's really going on is women have got more rights and privileges and more opportunities than men.
Yes.
Right? That's the real conversation. And the real conversation should be, why do you have more rights? Why do you have more privileges? Why do you have more opportunities than men? Why do you live longer than men? Why do you have more consumer spending than men, even though you earn less? Right? Why do women control the family unit? Yeah. Why do women have extra legal rights when it comes to violence? Like, why are men who are violent to women get longer sentences than women who are violent to men? It's countless millions of obvious questions that can be asked, but it's ignored by the false framing from both sides. We've got to ditch this equality narrative, right? And if we're going to have an equality narrative, we've got to change it and ask, why do women have more rights than men? We've got to stop pretending that women have less rights than men.
Well, we can honestly say it's not equal. There's no equality here at all.
Yes.
The oppression of women is not something that can be removed from capitalist society. Woman's oppressor is capital, and by extension, it is
no. Capital has empowered women more than any other group, right? It's actually expanded female privilege. It's expanded female choice. It's allowed them to treat men as disposable. Okay, and I'm going to explain how this works. In the past, especially before the Industrial Revolution, right, it was a lot harder for women to ditch their providers. They were basically stuck with them. They were stuck in an extended family. They paired up and they were stuck with their provider. And if they lost their provider, they were in great danger of dying, right? Okay, now capitalism increased surplus wealth, but it also increased mechanisms for women to strip men of wealth, right? So a woman now can have a relationship with a man and then strip him of wealth after she's broken the association and he carries on paying her, right? And then she can move on and find another man. So the man's treated like a disposable object, like a resource, and she can find other men to strip as resources. So women actually treat men like consumer objects, and she acts like the gender bourgeoisie. They act like the gender bourgeoisie.
Well, the other thing is, I believe the reason why she's going this socialism route is because basically saying that she wants women to have children, and then the government just give them money to take care of them.
Oh, and also, I don't think she's going to give the men equal shared parenting, right?
Of course,
I doubt it. Of course not. She's going to gatekeep the kids, right? And do you know what happened? If they had, she's going to gatekeep the kids. Finishing my thought there. But what would happen, right? If she got what she wanted, right? If she got what she wanted, 100%, everything she wanted. Say she got the money for having the kids, she was able to boot the father away, and she was getting paid for this. She'll still turn around and say that childcare is forced upon women by the patriarchy.
Of course,
she'll still say that, and then she'll go, "Oh yeah, this payment we're getting is just compensation." Right? And then she'll ignore the fact that mothers are kicking fathers away.
Yeah. By the way, can I point this picture out? This woman is in a perfectly comfortable environment on the computer, and
Yeah.
the only thing that's happening here is the kids are being rowdy. That's it.
And
I would love this lifestyle.
also, if you don't like kids, don't fucking have them. A lot of lone men would love to have this lifestyle, to have people in their life like this. Like kids, but all the problems that kids cause you, right? And they cause you most trouble in the first 2 years anyway. Once they get older, they're fine. But all the problems that kids cause you, kids love you unconditionally, right?
Yes, of
Right?
course.
Yeah, and if you was a sensitive, empathetic person who had full range of authentic human feelings, you'd love to have kids. You'd love to nurture them, educate them, teach them, play with them, watch them grow up, right? And this picture here, trying to frame its oppression, it shows that complete lack of gratitude, and actually shows a complete lack of care women have towards kids. They don't care about their children.
Yes.
They only care about what children can provide for them.
Well, that's just it. I mean,
Yes.
this whole picture here looks great to me. She's,
Yes.
look, the kids aren't even bugging her. They're just kind of running around and being kids.
And also, if the woman's in this, situation, she's in this situation by choice.
Yes,
Whatever. If she's a single mother, she's a single mother by choice. If the father's away working overtime, that's a gender role that she puts on the man, and he doesn't conform to it, she'll deselect him and call him a loser,
of
and a
course.
deadbeat. Right? So it's women make all these choices and they deflect responsibility for it. And these choices they make, they're often short term and they're done for base, low reasons. They're not done for ethical reasons. Let's carry on.
Yes.
And unless women can be freed from the nuclear family, women will never truly.
But women aren't forced into the nuclear family. The
Yes.
nuclear family actually came along because the women wanted the nuclear family.
Yes, exactly. The nuclear family is heteronormative conformity, right? That women demand off men. Men don't jump through these hoops. They don't get to have a family, period. Right? And all these gender roles are based on men working, right? Being away from their families. It actually diminishes them as human beings, basically. It strips them of their humanity, and it's from a position of complete contempt, and it's a psychopathic position. Actually, if women saw men as authentic human beings, they had empathy for them, they'll work an arrangement where they both work and they both get to spend more time with the kids. Or the man gets to spend more time with the kids, but the woman still gets to spend a lot of time with them. They'll structure societies where both the men and women could work less hours, like 35 hours a week or 30 hours a week, both bringing an income, and that's it. And they get to spend more time with their kids. Sorted.
And of course, we're also pointing out the fact that before this, the extended family, older women had clout over younger women. And as you see,
Yes.
like this picture, this is young woman is saying, where's the mother-in-law she has to deal with? She's nowhere. You know, she's her own empress there.
Yes. The nuclear family existed because people didn't want to be in extended families against the will. They don't want to, people, especially women, don't want to be with other elder women who could boss them around because they want to be in charge of their nuclear family. And men don't want to be around other people because they want to make God their woman. They want to be with a woman, and they don't want anyone else having emotional access to her. He wants to be at the center of her universe. And the woman doesn't necessarily want to be at the center of the man's universe, but she wants the man around as a servant. Well, usually women put their female friends at the center of their emotional universe.
Yes, that's absolutely true. I've seen it. That's been my personal experience throughout my entire life.
Yes.
Man is not their equal. Their equal is their best friend, is their girlfriend. That's who they care about.
Yes.
Be free. Capitalist society has brought with it the perpetual oppression of women, and I don't believe that the playing field can be leveled through legislation. Where do I?
All right, so pause. Okay, there's no perpetual oppression of women, right? And this is a false framing as well. This is not, they're not trying to make a level playing field with all this legislation. They're just giving women more privileges, period. That's what they're doing. And this false framing by them is gaslighting, right? It's like, can you imagine, right? Let's talk about apartheid South Africa, right? And let's say the whites who ruled kept on claiming they had less rights than black people when they're oppressed, and it kept on passing more legislation to give white people more rights, and it kept on saying, oh, that's not enough, we need even more privileges. It's equivalent of that, basically. It's that ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, women are disadvantaged from birth because of our wombs. The sole responsibility of
No, sorry, I've just noticed something. No, you're not disadvantaged from birth because of your wombs. First of all, okay, male and female children are very similar before they hit puberty, physically, right? Pre-pubescent girls don't have wombs. Right? She's talking like wombs like a giant tumor, like they're born with a giant tumor around their stomachs and they pop out the mothers. What a load of nonsense! What a load of nonsense! Right? So first of all, there are differences. I think there are psychological differences from birth, but physically they're very similar, right? Up until they hit puberty, and also girls have advantages at schools because female teachers favour girls in schools and upmark them more, right? When they did it, it's been proven by studies.
Yes.
Right. So it's actually a bizarre non sequitur. So some from birth, women are disadvantaged because they got a womb, even though they haven't hit puberty yet. Right. And also a womb, if you want to frame it as a disadvantage, it's only a disadvantage really if the woman's pregnant all the time.
Yes.
When a woman's pregnant, she's only pregnant for 9 months. Okay. It's not like the women are continuously pregnant, shitting out hundreds of children.
Yes. Or it's not like a period. They're not guaranteed to get pregnant. They don't have to get pregnant.
Yes. And I'm sick of women whining about pregnant periods as well. We didn't cause periods. Shut up.
Yes.
Look, if periods are so bad and so miserable, women, here's something you can do. Close your legs and don't reproduce, so women of future generations don't have to suffer periods. Yeah? It's that simple.
Yeah.
Carrying children falls on the woman's shoulders. Before the
Pause. That's false. I'm sorry, that's false. It doesn't fall on the woman's shoulders, right? It's completely voluntary. It's her choice. Now, first of all, we live in an overpopulated planet. Okay, anyway, so it'd be good if women reproduce less, right? And second of all, women are not forced to reproduce. They're not drafted into reproducing, right? What women are is they're bribed into reproducing, and they don't have to accept that bribe. Period.
Yes.
So it's not placed on your shoulders, and you claiming it is you being dishonest, whoever you are. What's this woman's name?
I forget her name. I might have to let me break it up. I'm trying to don't worry, it takes a while. There we are. Let's see what her name. Burn Ward. That's quite a name.
All right, maximize the screen. Burn. I'll call you Bernie from now on.
Yeah.
So, all right, Bernie. All right.
Okay.
I want to shoot the gender. All right, let's carry on playing.
Women were at the mercy of their biology. They had no control over menstruation.
Pause. Yeah. All right, okay, at the mercy of the biology. They don't have no control of their menstruation. So what? Yes. So what?
So nothing to do with pregnancy.
I've noticed feminists do this. Oh, we're equal, right? How dare you patronize us and imply that we're not? But when it's convenient, they go, oh, biology holds us back, we're victims.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. It's complete nonsense. It's having your cake and eating it, right? And we're all at the mercy of our biology, right? We can get cancer tomorrow, we can get ill tomorrow. We're all going to die. We've got a biological aging process. We're at the mercy of it. Right? It doesn't mean anything. We're at the mercy of our biology. You're at the mercy of reality, Bernie. But Bernie, let me tell you something. You have a better reality than the vast majority of men. You're a comfortable, pampered, privileged princess. You are the gender bourgeoisie.
Well, the other thing is too, if they're going to make, she's going to make that argument. She's basically saying that these guys who say, women belong in the kitchen or whatever. She's saying, they have a point. That men have the right to say, well, if your biology is holding you back, then I deserve something.
Yes,
you're not my equal.
If your biology is holding you back, that's. I think it's not even. Let's even forget about the kitchen thing. If their biology is holding their back, that's why they're getting paid less because we know the wage gap is bullshit anyway. But if their biology is holding them back, that's going to be one of the explanations. If they've been consistent. Right.
Yeah.
So they're not being consistent, are they? Right.
They're never consistent.
And women's lives greatly revolved around childcare. But
no, it doesn't.
The advent of birth control, it's not like this biological fact has changed.
You're right. She's right. No, she's actually right. Because she's saying just because the advent of birth control doesn't mean his biological reality hasn't changed. Because she's right. Because what men go around doing, they go around driving in vans, kidnapping women, impregnating
Yes.
them against the will. It happens to like 95% of women. So she's absolutely correct on that. So the pill hasn't stopped men doing that to women. That's sarcasm, by the way.
Yes, you got to say it. The men gave women the pill, but they're not even going to give credit of who invented it, for one thing.
Yeah, the man who invented the pill is absolutely invisible, right? Yeah. More women remember who Ted Bundy is, right? The serial killer who chopped up women, right? He's still got a fan club. He still has fangirls than remember the men who invented the pill.
Yes, who actually rescued them from this problem.
Yes.
But remember, even birth control didn't make any change.
Yeah. Do you think if the man who invented the birth control pill, he was 80, he says, I'm lonely, I really like a young girlfriend, they would have told him to bug off. Yes. But Charles Manson, a mass killer, when he was 80, he got married to a very pretty young girl in the 20s.
Yes, he did.
Okay. That shows you what's going on there.
Women have greater control over our reproductive rights, but it still doesn't change the fact that childbearing is something.
They've got great control of their reproductive rights, and they've got more reproductive rights than men. Period. Women in most Western countries and in most countries around the world have got a right to parental abandonment, something that men don't have. Period. Right. So, what you have to do, to make men and women equal right now in reproductive rights, what you have to do, you'd have to like strip women of abortion rights, and you would actually have to force them to raise their kids. Then they would be on par to the level of men.
Yes.
So in other words, even if you got rid of abortion rights, women still have more reproductive rights than men.
Yeah, and they're not doing that.
Yes.
I mean, look, or either that, or like men would at least be able to surrender their children like the women do.
Yes.
Thing that only women can do. But then this brings another problem.
By the way, she said rearing, not pregnancy, but rearing is something only women can do.
That's nonsense. That's gatekeeping right there.
Yeah.
So she's going, oh yeah, this is being forced upon us. This is being forced upon us, but also only we can do it. Right. Yeah. So if you're going to be, look, Bernie, if you're going to be consistent, right, it's either forced upon you or it's not. If you're the only one that you can do it, it's not being forced upon you, right? You're doing it because you're the only one who can do it. And let's be real here, you're not the only one who can do it. You're gatekeeping the role because you want men to be working for you and providing for you. Period.
Yes. It's an easy gig. It's that simple.
Yes.
Members of capitalistic society, we are expected to provide for ourselves by selling our labor. But childbearing is something.
Right. This is where this is a very common left-wing fallacy, and this is actually something the left has actually got to address, right? Okay, you can't use gender-neutral terms like that. We're expected to sell our labour, right? Because men are expected to sell their labour far more than women are. Okay, so they're in practical terms, they have to sell their labour more because no one's willing to look after them. But in social terms, they have to sell their labour more because they're shamed if they don't. So, like the other day, I was talking about child support with people on Twitter. I was talking about what an injustice it is.
Yeah.
And I was called an incel who lives in his mother's basement.
It has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
But exactly. But that's another point. But the thing is, so anyway, I wanted to get rid of gender roles for men, right? Slavery for men. And I was called a loser who lived in his mother's basement. Let's deconstruct that. What does that actually mean? It means I'm low status. I'm probably too poor to get my own living space, right? I'm probably unemployed and living in my mother's basement. And because I'm low status and I'm living in my mother's basement, I'm a lesser human being.
Yeah.
Right? So men get shamed for being low status and not selling their labor. If a man was able to get away with it not working, he'd be shamed. And also women wouldn't pair up with him either. Yeah. Right? He would have, the naive man go, why haven't I got a girlfriend yet? And if he thought about it and analysed things, he would have to come to the conclusion, I've got to get a decent job.
Yeah. Well, also, I just want to add, it's always the basement. It's always basically saying you're a cave dweller. You're not living in the nice part of the house.
Yes. Now, women can live off their parents shame-free, right? That often, for example, that actually often happens in Muslim countries. Because what happens is more and more women are having babies later and later in Muslim countries, getting married less and less because there's not enough high status Muslim men for them, right? Okay, and I won't go into the many different reasons why because it's quite complicated. But one of the reasons why is because you have affirmative action for more women in universities there. So like 70% of women in universities in Muslim countries, people in universities are women in Muslim countries. So there's not going to be enough men to go around for women, high status men to go around for women. So these women end up living with their parents. Under Islamic law, you've got to look after your female relatives. You have to, right? If they don't get married.
Yeah.
So
there's no
these
shame
women,
up to it. There's no shame.
there's cases of men working in their 70s to provide for their daughters in their 40s in some Muslim countries. It goes on, right? And these women are not shamed for it at all, right? At all. Also, the housewife role. Women are not shamed for being housewives. They're actually praised for it. Right-wing men especially praise them for it. They go, oh yeah, they like try and sell it as, oh yeah, she's looking after your house, she's looking after your kids, she's giving you a better life, she's supporting you. No, she's living off the man rent-free. Rent-free.
Yes.
She's doing nothing.
And so this is not unpaid labor. This is not unpaid labor. This
so the point is men are forced to sell their labor far more than women are. They've got far less options. And this is, I don't want to miss this point as well. It's a double injustice because women get affirmative action and they push men out of higher education and the job market. So men need their jobs more than women, but women still push men out of these jobs. They land these jobs that should go to men, really, who could probably outcompete and perform better. They land these jobs and they still look for higher status men. No, look, if you're a woman, right, this is what you should do if you're a woman, you push a man out of a job, okay? When you look for a male partner, completely forget about the status of the man you're looking for and just find a man you find physically attractive. So if he's poor, but you find him physically attractive, go for that and it'll work out somehow. But of course, you'll never do this. Never. Women are not like that. And the thing is, they're not like that and they won't even admit it. They'll gaslight men and come up with all sorts of nonsense like wage gap, oppression, men are forced into the kitchen, all this nonsense.
Yes, I can't find a man. I can't find a good man who has a Mercedes Benz.
That can incapacitate women. Women who are in the stages of pregnancy or in childcare are still expected to provide for.
Yes.
No, they're not. Women in childcare or giving birth, right? First of all, they can find men to provide for them. First of all, they get more welfare than men do, right? They get generous child benefits in the UK. And third of all, if they want to work, their jobs will be protected. They'll be protected by law. They'll still get to keep their jobs. They'll get maternity leave. And here's the thing, right? Okay. If you're a woman and you can't keep a long-term stable relationship with a man, you shouldn't be having kids, in my opinion. I'm sorry. It's not in the interest of the kids. Find a man, get pregnant with him, right? Have kids, take your maternity leave, right? Enter the job market again, and then you can work less hours and spend more time with the kids. You both work less hours and you both spend time with the kids. Sorted. But women don't want that, do they? They've got to have it so that the man's working overtime and she spends all the time with the kids.
Yes.
And the thing is,
he's working the job. They're not.
Karen Storm did a video about this man. He actually found an equal relationship because what he did, he found a working woman, right? I found a woman who works just as hard as me, right? I'm not going to be exploited here. She's on the same level as me. So he got married to her. He had kids with her, and as soon as she had her kids, she just stopped working completely. And he had to start working overtime to make up the shortfall because he still expected the same lifestyle.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
And the thing is, she is going to be heartbroken if she's tired of him, if he's not giving what she wants, she'll be happy to leave.
And it'll alienate him from the kids as well, and he'll have to pay child support.
He will.
Yes.
So he's paying one way or the other. That's why she stopped working. She knows she doesn't have to.
And I've got to say, we actually got to start treating claims of female oppression as hate speech, as dog whistles, female supremacy. Period.
For themselves and their children, which is a burden that men don't have to endure. Sure, as a working woman, one can always hire a nanny or send one's children off to daycare.
All right, pause. It is paused.
Right?
Okay. So I had to emphasize pause. endorse this nonsense. No, anyway. Okay, let's be real here, right? Who's gonna get the nanny? Usually, it's gonna be upper middle class women and upper class women, right? And a lot of these women who get nannies don't even work.
Yeah,
it's a sign of bourgeoisie luxury.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing for you women. Just don't have kids. If this bothers you, keep your fucking legs closed. Shut them tight. Keep it in your pants. No one's forcing you to have kids, right? And also, you got abortion or just do more anal sex. Yeah, you've got plenty of choices. Or you know what? You don't need a man. Just get a bloody vibrator. Yeah.
Well, this is the irony is that someone's saying this now in 2021.
Yes.
There was the show Desperate Housewives started in 2004 or something like that. So, and they had women that just sat around the house and had a maid, you know, so I mean, that's the way it was. So
the thing is, they're still saying this now. I think it more or less proves that it wasn't true in the past. It wasn't true in the 70s. It wasn't true in the 60s. It wasn't true in the 50s. Right? It wasn't true in the 40s. I promise you, women being forced to work in factories during the Second World War, women probably hated it. And the reason why there's a nuclear family short-term boom, nuclear age boom of the nuclear families, because women wanted to get out of the factory as soon as possible.
Yes,
I promise you that.
By the way, that's part of the gaslighting, because if you ever look at that, any shows or TV, they always try to say the opposite, that the woman wanted to stay in the job and the man forced her to be.
Yeah, if the women wanted to be in these jobs, they would have fought for them and struck for them.
Yes.
Right? They didn't want them. They didn't want them.
Yeah. They were glad to have the men come back home and take over. Is that simple?
Taking all the thing is, men taking all the burdens, and then they spit in the faces of men when they do so and call them oppressors. That's what I hate. Look, I'm long past the point where I go, I'd be happy with this if the females show gratitude and acknowledge their privilege. I'm long past that point, because even then it'll be outrageous. But they make it even worse by spitting in the faces of men and gaslighting them and claiming they're oppressed and calling them abusers over this. Oh, this is a gender role, you're forcing me, you're restricting me. The bare-faced cheek of these pathological liars is disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
And the other thing is, people then turn around and say, well, this is a certain kind of woman, but everybody backs this. The average woman says, oh, it does not say this is wrong, or I'm against this. And the average guy doesn't. I mean, come on. Everyone's for this, you know.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. I had some female friends online a while back, and I fell out of them. And they acknowledged that women like providers, like men who work, right? Of course. But they still believed in the wage gap myth, right? And I showed them articles that debunked it. They didn't want to look at it. I said, look, if your husband's working and you're staying at home with the kids all the time, that explains the wage gap 100%, because I think it does, more or less. Of course. Okay. And she didn't want to hear it.
Of course.
She didn't want to hear it. And she was, oh, I'm really grateful for my husband, I love him, but I still resent him for earning more money for the same amount of work, even though it's not true.
Yes.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
I've seen it in my own family. They love it. Yes. And I just say, no, that's not true.
Yes.
Okay, let's try and get through this. We're only not even 3 minutes in. Oh my God.
Requires money. And so women are expected to work to provide for their children who are dependent on them until adulthood.
All right, I want to point out something else as well. Okay.
Go ahead.
This is out of context and it's meaningless. Oh, women are expected to provide for their children, blah, blah, blah. It's totally dishonest. It erases the role of the man in real world conditions. First of all, a woman can have a man around to provide, and she can stop working. She could, look, let's be real. She can have a man, have a kid with a man, boot him out and get child support.
Yes.
Right. So she's not expected to provide. She'll get welfare. Right. And look, no. And also this raising is offensive to men. Okay. Because I do personally think families should stick. There's two options here. Families should stick together if the woman really loves the man, or if they break apart, it should be 50-50 shared parenting.
Of course.
Period. It's a default. So, but she's gatekeeping the female, the motherhood role, the parenthood role, basically, and then saying it's forced upon her, and then she's going to beg for more money from the state. It's outrageous.
Yeah. Hey, look, burn ward. All you have to do is don't have children. Don't get married. Be the independent person you girls say that you are.
Yes. And look, I'm sure, even in a country that don't have 50-50 shared parenting, if both parents demanded it, the woman goes, I want 50-50 shared parenting agreement, you'll probably get it. You probably get it. Women go, they want complete custody, they want to gatekeep the kids, right? Okay. And even if they don't deny fathers their weekend visitation, they still want the child support money.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's what women do.
What solution does industrial society have for women? Well, it's a very
Yeah, they do have
simple one.
It's very simple. It's called. They do have a solution. It's called child support.
Yeah.
It's called welfare.
And alimony.
Yeah. So, all right, let's carry on.
Marry a man and he will help take care of you.
All right, pause.
This is what I'm talking about. She's suggesting that rather than marry a man, that she gets pregnant. If a woman gets pregnant,
society doesn't go marry a man, right?
Yeah.
A woman can get pregnant outside of marriage, and she'll still get child support. Yeah, she'll still get welfare. So what she's saying is complete nonsense, actually. Look, and the thing is, and she's being dishonest as well. She's gaslighting. The marriage contract is designed so women can divorce the man and still get payment and money from him. Once the contract is ended, can take half his assets. She can get alimony in a lot of countries, sometimes lifetime alimony. This is gaslighting. This can't be Bernie, right? This can't be ignorance on your part. This has just got to be lying.
Yes.
I'm sorry to say, you're lying to us. You've got to know you're lying to us, and you should really stop lying. It's unethical.
God.
What does a man gain from marriage? Well,
Okay, this is going to be rich.
he gains access to sex as well as to...
No, that's not.
No.
A guy is not
First of all, my guy's not guaranteed sex. Let's deconstruct that statement, because that does need deconstructing.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, sex should be a mutual attraction thing. Oh, he gains access to sex, so she's basically admitting the man's bribing her to get sex, right? Yeah. Okay. And first of all, men can have sex outside of marriage, right? Okay, they can have sex out. You don't need to get married to have sex. Third of all, women can cut off sex in marriage completely. The man doesn't have rights to have sex during marriage.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So don't objectify us, these feminists go, but we're a prize that has to be earned.
Yeah.
You see the double standard there.
It's
disgusting.
Men's reproductive capabilities, but he stands to gain.
Pause.
Yeah, I heard that.
She said you gain access to men's reproductive capabilities. She said you gain access to women's reproductive capabilities during marriage. You don't need to get married to gain access to that. And actually, you don't gain access to it. You get to splurge in a pussy if she lets you, right? And if she wants to give birth to whatever you discharge into her, she will. Period. You actually don't gain access to that. It's nothing to do with marriage.
And also, men don't marry for that. Men want the woman.
I think some men do, but most don't.
Yeah,
I think some men actually do want families as a priority, but that's a small minority. Some men would be quite nice to have a family, but the priority is still the woman. It's a spectrum.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say. It's not that the men never want to have children. It's just that the woman is the priority. Because a woman, I'll say it over and over again, if a woman says to her husband, I don't want to have children, he doesn't divorce her or separate.
Most of the time, who would the average man like to be married to? A hot-looking Michelle Pfeiffer in her late 40s, right? Who's completely infertile, or a fertile 18-year-old teenage girl who looks like a pig.
Yeah, exactly.
We know who the man would go for. Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Men marry so that they can have heirs that can take on their last
No. What is this? The 12th century?
It's medieval times.
Oh my God.
You've been playing too much fucking Crusader Kings 2.
Oh yeah.
Bloody hell. Playing too many medieval strategy games.
That's why she has the picture of this guy and a little boy. You know?
Yeah. So first of all, marriage, right? You don't have heirs. You don't have fucking heirs. You don't have family, especially you don't have family estates, right?
Yes.
So the average, if you're a dad who's divorced, you're paying child support, right? You're alienated from your kids, right? You don't have heirs. You don't have fucking heirs. Do you? That kid's not going to carry your surname. He's not going to carry on your legacy. He's not going to wear your coat of arms in the battlefield. You know what I mean?
Come on, a lot of guys don't even have any real property to sit down. Like, I'm renting. So, I mean, come on, dude.
Jesus Christ. The barefaced lies. That's out of touch with reality. I'm sorry. I'm not going to attribute this to a misunderstanding. This is just lies. This is this is feminist gaslighting, and this is some of the worst examples of it. This is all the feminist lies splurged into one video.
But because we're only in like 320, and this is incredible. This is like compacted food. I'm telling you, it's like
yes. Oh, the thing is, and we've got to spend time deconstructing this, because all these lies are taken for granted by society. This bullshit false view of the world, this false consciousness, is the default view.
Yes.
Unfortunately. And we've got to explain why this isn't so. But what we're explaining, what we're saying should be obviously true. And unfortunately, it's not to most people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Guys do take whatever the girls tell them. That's it.
Yes.
And inherit their property. The man's protection and labor are for the woman the rewards of her labor.
Pause.
Yeah.
Right. Pause. Protection is from the police. Let's be real here.
Yes.
Right. The man might try and protect the woman if she's in danger in an immediate sense, but what's really protecting her is the police. Period.
In a patriarchal society, she does not have a lineage or her own bloodline to propagate.
What?
These women do not care about it, for one thing.
Yes. First, she said blood. Actually, women did have bloodlines in the past. What the fuck's you on about that? If you're a woman or you're a man, right, you inherit the family name. That's how it used to work, right? You used to get the prestige and status of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what she's even on about.
Burnmore, if you're a woman who's married a guy with a high status, you inherit from him. You know, even if the son inherits, he's going to take care of you as a mother. You know,
and let's be real here. You just divorce the man, you get all the assets, and you're in control of them, and you get to decide how they go to the son.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
This is not the 12th century.
So then, monogamous marriage is just a means to exploit the reproductive labor of women.
No. Don't you see how fucking nasty that is? The way she's framing it.
Exactly.
Exploit. Like, if a man and a woman agree to have kids, it's a mutual agreement. And when a man does it, he's taking on all the risks. He's taking on great risks. He could get divorced, parentally alienated, be forced to pay child support. He's the one being exploited, actually.
To tell you the truth, I don't know why you and I keep saying the word risk, because a risk would imply that there's a chance it won't happen.
Well, there is a chance. No, there is a chance it won't happen, right? Because it is a risk, right? Okay. So not all women do that, okay? Right? So it's like going to the loan shark. You take a loan from a loan shark. There's a risk. Like you follow the terms of the agreement, you pay it off, but there's also a risk that the loan shark will go, no, I'm going to add some more interest to that, and you better pay it off or I'll break your thumbs. It's that sort of risk, right? You see what I mean? So we got to be real. We can't claim that 100% of women do this, whatever the percentage is. Like, let's say it's 50%, right? That's not good enough. Even though it's 20%, even though it's 10%, even though it's 5%, right? Because women shouldn't have the right to do this at all. Period. Right? 5% of men don't get to enslave women, do they?
No. Well, the other thing is the enslavement is 100% guaranteed.
It's not 100% guaranteed to happen. It's 100%. She's got the right to do it 100%.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me put it this way. It's not an equal relationship, is it?
It's not an equal, no. She gets to enslave him if she decides to do it.
Well, he's working for her one way or the other.
Yes.
Women's labor is exploited both inside and outside of the home.
Pause. I actually find it offensive, right? It's like exploit. She's actually implying having kids is a burden. It's disgusting. They don't want to do it, right? And then they trying to go, oh yeah, only women can raise the kids. You know, we're wonderful as mothers. They want it both ways. So they want to frame it as oppressive, but then they want to go, oh, it's wonderful that we are mothers and we deserve extra goodies for this.
Yeah. Bern Ward, I thought you women loved children. I thought it
Yeah,
was an
and
honor for you guys, to girls, to have children
Yeah.
and bear
Yeah.
them and take care of them. I thought that was an
yes, yeah,
honor.
yeah. That's your natural nurturing instincts at play, right?
Child rearing is labor and it is unpaid, uncompensated labor.
No, no. That's absolutely fucking disgusting. And it shows you how psychotic the women are who frame that narrative, right? There is not a man in the world who's ever called their child labor, right? I'm exaggerating there, but you know what I mean? It's far less men. Men don't frame having their children as labor. They choose to have their children. A lot of it, when they do choose, sometimes they don't, but when they do choose to have their children, right? They're happy to look after their children, and they don't frame it as a fucking job.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
very disgusting that you're doing that.
They
right?
already got a job. Their job is their
It
job,
isn't.
and their
It's not.
family.
I'm sorry. So, like, if I had a relative that I was looking after, I wouldn't frame it as labour. I'm sorry. It's an obligation that I willingly do because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry, and also it's not unpaid. The man is paying you. This is the dishonest, removing the context here. The man is paying you, bribing you in a relationship, right, to have the kid with him, and he's paying you. And when you divorce, if you divorce from him, you can make him pay child support. So it's not unpaid. Women only have kids with men when they get a financial payout with them most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's not unpaid.
Yeah. And
You're just lying.
In Bern,
Yeah.
if you really felt that way, if women really felt that way, they would work outside of the house along with the man, and they would hire a nanny together. And
Yes.
it's an equal relationship.
Yes.
Women have to first be in a marriage to have children.
No.
What? No, they don't. Shut the fuck. What, are you in some sort of backwards medieval third world country where they got laws stopping women having children outside of marriage? Like, what the fuck? Maybe she's a time traveler or something. She's from the 12th century. And she's like, got stuck in the 21st century, hasn't learned about her customs yet. But she somehow learned to use YouTube and speak English. What's going on? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Jesus
my
Christ.
And
What's that?
I was just about to say, fucking hell, man.
men can still acquire the resources for self-care uninhibited by their biology, whereas women...
Yeah, but women get the resources of self-care from men, period, right? Women do 80% of consumer spending, men earn 70% of the money. There's a big disconnect there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right? Self-care, women don't like this. Is removing the context of gender roles is dishonest. You can't compare an apples to apples comparison. You've got to be apples to orange comparison, right? Women are oranges and men are apples, and oranges live under a different context than apples do. Yeah, right. Apples can't leech off women and get provided for by women, right? And the ones that do are looked down upon. Only pimps do that, and it's very rare, actually. Very rare.
Very rare.
Is it really surprising that there is friction between the sexes? When such
Oh my God. Not when men are getting zapped like they are. No.
friction arises, the traditionalists and the conservatives tell women that they belong in the kitchen, even equating submission to men with femininity.
But women
okay,
want
but it's not that women want this. Let's deconstruct this, right? We can't just say women want this.
No.
Let's get into their frame a little bit, okay? First of all, these trad cons are mentally defective, right? Okay, if they get a woman in the kitchen, he's going to be paying for this and working more hours. She's in the kitchen and can divorce him anytime she wants,
Yes.
right? Women in the kitchen. These women are in the kitchen because they want to be. Period.
Exactly.
And like so these trad con women will laugh. They'll laugh and oh yeah, I'm a submissive traditional woman who wants to be in the kitchen and wants to be protected by a patriarch. That's just laughing. And second of all, these trad cons do equate femininity with submission because they're idiots.
Yes.
Right? What femininity is social dominance and privilege and working less hours. He who works more is actually the lower caste compared to they who work less. It's always been that way. Aristocrats work less than peasants, right? The working class in the factory work more than the middle class or the upper class
Yes.
who've got more money. It's just always
Also,
been that
Vern
way.
Ward, here's another thing. This trad
Yes.
con they're showing here, he wouldn't let his son do to him. He wouldn't let his son go in the kitchen. His grown
Yes.
son, he tried to say, "Dad, I'll do all the heavy housework that
Yeah.
mom values, and
Yeah.
you can work." He would tell his
Yeah.
son he's a bum and go out get
Yeah.
a job and support himself.
Yes.
The patriarch becomes the head of the family, and women become.
Well, he's not there.
Yeah.
There is no patriarch, right? Men are not head of the family. Okay, women are, and she's going to admit this herself when she talks about divorce laws, and she's going to try to justify them. But the thing is, if women get control of children after a divorce, if they get forced men to pay child support under force of imprisonment, it's the women who are the head of the household. Women are in charge of the family. It's actually a matriarchal society we live in now.
Yes.
Yes.
Able to wield the ultimate authority and always subject to.
So did you make the point? I just want to make this again,
Yes.
just to clear up the context here.
Sure.
She's saying that women are useless and they're held back by their biology, they're victims of their biology. So if men logically turn around and go, "Oh yeah, you're so useless, stay in the kitchen," where it's a lot less stressful and onerous, then she complains about it.
Yeah, of course.
So she only wants things that benefit her. So she'll point something out and she wants the positive benefit from it. But if the logical conclusion points to something negative, like a burden or something expected of her, she'll just reject it and call it oppression. She wants to have her cake and eat it, in other words.
Yes. Yeah. All this stuff she's talking about has not stopped women from wanting these typical housewife role.
Yes. And I think this is what feminists mean when they refer to the patriarchy.
Oh, by the way, she's not even calling herself a feminist.
Yes.
She says,
I just want to point out something else as well. I think this is what feminists mean when they point out the patriarchy, right? That's actually not an accident, because the term patriarchy is deliberately kept vague and nebulous. Yes. By feminists, right? Oh, no, it doesn't mean direct rule by men, right? It just means cultural customs that favor men, you know. Yeah. Oh, no, they don't always favor men, actually. Men stuff for them too because of the patriarchal backlash, you know. They just keep on changing the definition all the time, moving the goalposts.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
Come on. The structure that is oppressive to women. Just to clarify,
there is no structure oppressive to women, period.
Yeah.
Everyone knows this.
Everyone can
shut up.
It's obvious.
Yes.
The individual men that is the problem, but the overall structure of capitalist society.
You just said it. Not individual men who's the problem, you know?
Yes. It's capital. Okay. And capitalism. What is capitalism fueled by? Right? It's fueled by female consumer spending and male competition to get the woman. You end capitalism overnight when women go for equal status men in relationships and they both work equal hours and both share the child. Yes, there'll be no more men competing for jobs so viciously. Lots more men will drop out of the structure of gender roles. Only a few mentally ill tradcons will carry on working themselves to the grave. Most men will not. They'll stop overnight. But women will not do this for men. So capitalism's not going anywhere. It's because it benefits you as a woman.
Yes, these women love to LARP as socialist.
Yes. And the thing is, these women, they come into socialist circles, invade them, and they actually destroy them, actually.
Yeah, they take them out of them.
They take them over and they actually drive men out as well. I'm actually going to do a video about this someday to cover this, because there's some really, really nasty examples. Like, there was a left-wing protest against nuclear missiles in the UK. Like, there's an American base of nuclear missiles, and what the feminists eventually did, they made it all about themselves and booted all the men out and made it a female-only protest. Yeah. And then the protest died off completely because they did that.
Of course.
Yes.
Which disingenuously presents monogamous marriage as a fair deal for women. Women are
It is a misingenuous presentation because it favors women. It's not a fair deal. It's a much better deal. It's a completely unfair deal for men. And claim it's disingenuous, you're gaslighting us.
Yeah.
You do that. Don't lie to us, woman.
These
Bernie.
women get upset if the husband sleeps around with other women, even when he's providing for her. They still don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being equal to men in earning capacity, whereas our very basic biology makes it so that we aren't.
Okay. So if you believe that, right? If you believe that, you can knock the wage gap conspiracy on the head. The wage gap is actually not caused by men conspiring against women, right?
Of course, that's what we're pointing out.
Yeah, and the thing is, I actually don't buy it. Women can earn just as much as men. Women actually are earning more than men in a lot of jobs now, right? They've
But
got
they're getting
privilege-
paid more. Yeah.
They're getting paid more, and well, if they're getting paid more, they're earning more for whatever reason. So they are getting paid more.
Yeah.
So and look, more and more men are getting driven out of high status jobs to make way for women. So yeah, okay. Look, if you're pathetic subhumans who can't work who are not as able as men, right? Don't expect extra rights and privileges then. Yeah. And I'm not calling you subhuman, by the way. You're framing yourself as subhuman, right? As lesser than men. And if we turn around and say, oh, women are lesser than men, you get offended and angry. You can't have it both ways.
It also goes deeper than that. The whole idea of the nuclear family also presents the father as a parent that is equal to the mother, when it is not.
Well, he is an equal parent. He's just as good at rearing
Well,
children.
but he's not an equal parent though, because he's got to work to be with the children.
Yes.
So he's not equal. He's not an equal. He's not
I'm
valued for who
saying
he is.
his skills are
Yeah.
equal.
His skills are probably more important. Let's be real here. He's the one doing
Yeah.
all the working. It's been proven that single mothers are narcissistic, child abusing failures who have failed children, who end up taking drugs more, killing themselves more, having mental health problems more, ending up in prison more, right? So actually, men are better parents than women. Let's be real. I'm not going to beat around the bush, because they seem to be better at raising their children, setting boundaries, and they're doing all the work most of the time. So what the woman's doing most of the time is just cooking and lazing about if she's not working. Let's be real here. And when she's cooking, she's probably just putting like pizza rolls in the oven for dinner. Yeah.
There's a lot of kids raised off craft dinner.
Yes.
Known that women on average provide more childcare than men do. There's plenty
because women get it's stats in the street. It doesn't matter what the stats are. It's because women gatekeep the role. That's why. Right. Barbarossa did a video and he linked to an article about house husbands, and the few high-flying women who tried to have house husbands ended up divorcing them and resented them for being losers.
They got pissed off. They got resentful because the guy had the easy gig and they hated it.
Yes. So have a 50-50 shared parenting role and split the work equally, period. But women don't want that. Women deselect men for that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why it doesn't exist.
Yes.
Back this up. So it's not like the man is on average taking care of the children as much as the woman.
No. This is absolutely fucking disgusting. Absolutely disgusting and so dishonest. I'm sorry. He's working. He's bringing in the money, right? And she's treating it like it's nothing, right? She's not even going, men work, but women do child rearing. And on average, I think child rearing is more important. That'd be completely false, by the way. But she's not even doing that. She's just erasing it completely.
Yeah. She's acting like the guy is just out there playing pool or something with the guys.
That'd be great. Wouldn't that be great though? Because
it would be great.
Just play pool and then come home and just spend some time with kids. Go to play pool again. That'd be great.
This is why
that's the general rules I'd like.
Yes.
Sorry. All right. Sorry. This is why the men's right. She said this is why the men's right. Go back 5 seconds. I'm sorry. I'm speaking too much.
Okay. Let's get back here then.
Average taking care of the children as much as the woman is. This is why when the men's rights movement brings up the questions of custody and child support, they're being disingenuous. Even
No. Let's not being disingenuous. You're pro child support slavery. That means you're a bad person.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now they're not being disingenuous. Men work, bringing all the money. right? Okay, and it's nothing to do with anything. It's first of all, you say we live in a patriarchal society, right? And you're pointing to something. You're going, oh yeah, but we do most of the childcare. Therefore, that's why we get the children. If you lived in a patriarchal society, the men who ran it in their own interests will go, we don't care. We don't care if you do most of the child work. The child's still going with the man. This is a society that's for us, for men, run by men, for the sake of men. But they don't do that, do they? They give the child to the women, like 99% of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
99% easily.
So, and also men work and you're raising their work. Also, it's irrelevant. The woman, what you can do is 50-50 shared parenting.
Yeah.
50-50 shared parenting. The woman works, the man works to get equal access to the kids. And it's been proven that's the best outcome for kids, by the way. Right? It keeps their lives the most stable. They get to have both parents in their lives and they have good role models where both parents work.
Oh, by the way, you're bringing up something that also gets on my nerves, is when you do bring up alimony and child support, some woman will point out some woman she knows that, like the 1% who actually pays alimony for a change.
Yes. I do not, I'll tell you what they do as well, which really pisses me off, right? These women, I just call them liars and I say they'll never abuse. It happens too often. Oh yeah, I'm sort of against child support. You know, I tried to refuse it from my husband, but he beat me and he broke my ribs, you know, and I couldn't work and I had to live off it. And he's too dangerous. I offered it. One woman actually said to me, I offered to give the money back to him after I collected it to him. He was so abusive, I couldn't hang around him. You know, stuff like that.
Oh my God. Yes.
The thing is, men still fall for this fucking nonsense because they sort of feel guilty. Oh, the poor woman, I'm not going to call her out because she might be an abuse victim.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Women are the primary caretakers of children.
Again.
Because they want to be. Because they want to be. Yes.
Moreover,
no. Stop. Before we move on, the National Organization of Women, the biggest, most powerful feminist lobby in the world. I think they've got a chapter in every state in the USA. They're big time. They get a lot of funding, right? They're big time. They're the biggest feminist lobby in the world. They actually blocked alimony reform, and they actually got a Republican right-wing governor in California, I think, or Florida, one of the two, to block equal shared parenting bill.
Parenting, yes.
It's an equal shared parenting bill that support from 80% of the population. Actually, so it should even a lot of women don't want this privilege in a lot of ways. A lot of them probably just want 50-50 shared parenting, and they just want to get on with their lives and work, right? Because look, the thing is, parasitical women, right? I think I don't know how many are. Is it 40%? Is it 60%? Is it 80%? I know not all women are parasites. To be honest, I know they're not. Okay, but the feminists are the women who are the most likely to be the parasites, and they're the ones. This may sound counterintuitive. I think feminists are the ones who are most likely to want traditional gender roles, and a lot of these tradcon women, a lot of the time, are ex-feminist women as well, who just switch to tradcon ideology for their own benefit.
Yes. Well, you know yourself that almost the most dire, hardcore radical feminist who use male hate will have a boyfriend or a husband.
Yes.
You know, it's just natural. It's just known to be true.
Yes.
Unpaid labor in their own homes and globally.
It's not unpaid labor. It's not unpaid labor, right? Oh, okay. If it's unpaid labor, right? I've just noticed something, a double standard here, right? Unpaid labor. Okay. Why isn't a woman parasiting a man off a man unpaid labor then? A man looking after a woman, providing for her. Isn't that unpaid labor?
It's the true unpaid labor.
Yeah. If you want to be consistent, but you're not going to be, are you?
Be valued at 13% of the economy. This is why marriage in itself is sort of a battleground of the sexes. The man's motive to
it is a battleground of the sexes. I do agree with her there, but for completely different reasons. It's a battleground in the way that one army gathers up a bunch of civilians in a battlefield, ties them all up, and just shoot and bombards them with bombs and kills them all. It's a battle in that sense. It's a one-way slaughter by one side or the other. It's that
Yeah.
sort of battlefield. Men are getting slaughtered here.
Production so that he can have heirs. Because of this, it is important
Yes. She's
Yes.
still talking
Having
about heirs.
heirs, yes.
Yeah.
for him to know that the children are biologically his. So,
All right, this is irrelevant.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Marriage doesn't, all right, first of all, this is why you're a complete liar, and you know this, Bernie, right? First of all, marriage, I must have missed the part of the marriage contract that says you're guaranteed to have kids that are biologically yours. I missed that part of the marriage contract because it doesn't exist. Yeah. So first of all, man's guaranteed nothing. He's not guaranteed kids. He's not guaranteed sex. If he has kids, if he finds out they're not his, he's still forced to pay child support, right? Because the judge will just go, oh yeah, someone's got to take responsibility, blah, blah, blah. It might as well be you, you sucker. Yeah.
A husband
Yeah.
cannot rape his wife, so he can't.
Yeah, no, let's not bring up rape. It's irrelevant to rape. Let's not bring it up. That's false framing, right?
Wait, look. I mean, look. He's not allowed sex. Is what I'm trying to
Yes,
say.
he's not. Yeah, he's not allowed sex. Yeah, and he's not. The thing is, he has sex. He's not necessarily going to give birth to his kids. The woman can go and have sex with someone else to get pregnant by someone else. He does a paternity test, right? Okay. He finds out the kids are not his. He has a divorce because he's angry, right? And he's going to still have to pay alimony. She's still going to win the divorce because women don't lose divorces for cheating, right?
Exactly.
Still going to be paying child support, right? So he's not guaranteed kids from getting married.
As a matter of fact, judges have been known to throw out paternity test.
Yes. Oh, they're actually illegal in some countries. They're illegal in some countries. You can't have them. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's try and get to. We're only through that halfway point. Oh my God.
expected of women, and in order to extract a woman's loyalty, society as a whole has an incentive.
Well, extract her loyalty.
What the fuck? So loyalty is a resource. Extract her loyalty. What? That's not how loyalty works. And first of all, women are not loyal in relationships. They can bail any time and get a cash out reward. Women are incentivized to be disloyal, in fact. So this is a complete reversal of reality. It is a complete. She lies with such great conviction in this video. If you was completely ignorant on this subject, it would feel so real and authentic. You know, like this must be the truth. It's complete nonsense.
Well, the thing is, how would you extract loyalty? Wouldn't she just be loyal?
Yeah.
You know, just
it's probably extracted by patriarchal oppression or something like that. I don't know. Patriarchal brainwashing.
She doesn't owe him her loyalty if she's married. Yes. Come on, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
To control the reproductive freedom of women, whereas in
marriage, stop. What the fuck are you on about? Marriage doesn't control the reproductive freedom of women. The marriage contract doesn't say, "Open up your womb, bitch. Take whatever sperm the husband gives you," does it? It doesn't say that.
Yeah, Bernie. Any woman can spread her legs out to a guy outside of marriage and get pregnant if she wants.
Yes.
There's no control.
Yes.
You know? Now she's going to talk about this guy having freedom.
Men are freed from childcare and are free to participate in the world uninhibited by their biology.
No. Complete fucking nonsense. Men are not inhibited by their biology. They're not free to enter the world. They've got less access to the job market than women. They've got less social procedure just existing than women, right? If a man's in a relationship with a woman, he's going to have to work overtime under threat of divorce and parental alienation. That's a chilling effect in relationships.
But here's another thing. But his biology, if a man wants to have a child, how is his biology not holding him back? Because he needs the permission of a woman and the willingness of
and also men can't adopt kids on their own. Let's be real here. Because it looked on with suspicion, because society thinks, he must want to bugger that child. That's what people think. Let's be real here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the family itself forms the shackles around the woman's ankles. She wants.
No, they don't. Fuck off.
Liberated.
No. If it's a shackles, the woman could give up any time. Give up the kid for adoption.
Yes.
Period. So this is a lie.
In my country, I can tell you that now.
Yes, they could do it. In my country. Women could drop the kids off in care, take them out again, drop them off again, take them out again, drop them off again. Zero judgment. Right. Well, men in this country. Look, I know from personal anecdote, a real life case of a man who's homeless, who was homeless. He wasn't homeless when I knew him. He was homeless. He didn't have a job, right? He was on disability, but he was paying child support to a millionaire woman.
Go on.
I'm not joking. I'm not joking, because she had baby rabies, and he was a working class man. She settled for him apparently. She had kids with him, one kid with him, booted him out. He ended up homeless, and he was forced to pay child support even though she didn't need it.
Oh my God, this is
Yeah,
disgusting.
yeah.
But she can't because of the double exploitation that she has to undergo.
Oh,
Here,
You know what? No. If you're gonna make shit up, right? Let's not stop at double exploitation. Let's not stop there. Why not make it triple exploitation, right? Or quadruple exploitation, or over 9,000 times exploitation. Yeah. If you're gonna lie big, Bernie. Yeah.
but look, gee, she's lying big already. she's lying as big as you can.
Yeah.
really clear that more than biological differences between men and women, there is a class difference between the two.
Oh,
This is why I believe that the feminist struggle is a class struggle.
No. There is a class difference between men and women. Women are upper class, men are lower class. Men work and perform for their place in society, women don't. Right? So women are aristocrats, men are the performers. They're the court jesters, they're the peasants, they might be the traders. The traders had to earn their place in society originally, right? Then a lot of them became a nobility later on. But men are not the nobility, they're not the upper class. And any class analysis of gender relations that has women as a subordinate class is complete fucking bunk.
Yeah.
Complete bunk.
It becomes even worse in countries where romantic love is considered a prerequisite for a marriage, because then the
No,
class.
it's not. No.
Yeah.
There is no countries where romantic love is considered a prerequisite for marriage.
No.
Right? There is none. Okay? It wasn't like that in the past, right? And it's not like that in third world countries. A lot of the time they go, hey, we can't really look after our daughter anymore, right? You take her. And some desperate man who can't get a woman outside of this will just take her out of desperation.
Yeah.
And also I want to make another point as well. Okay, men who have romantic love outside of marriage in third world countries, a lot of the time they're forced to marry a woman, especially if it gets her pregnant. They'll go, no, you dishonored her. If you don't marry her and provide for her, we'll kill you. Right? Another anecdote. I'm not going to say what country he's from, but I know a Muslim man that's happened to. Right? He got a woman pregnant, and it was an pregnancy as well. He was ambushed by it, okay, because he thought she was on birth control, and she got pregnant. And he was actually quite high status, but he was actually very high status. She got pregnant by him, and her family said to him, "You better marry her or else." And he did. He was married to her for 25 years.
Besides, if what she's talking about romance, culturally, people like the idea of romance in the West, but it's really the girls that go gaga over the movies, the romance movies.
Also, the definition of romance has changed quite a lot. It used to be a lot broader, actually. It used to be more general romantic, nostalgic, magical, self-sacrifice, friendship, love. It was a more general, broader thing. It's like knights doing heroic things, and there was chivalry and romance with women involved in it. But now romance just means rape fantasy, like brutish men, high status men with abs and long hair, forcing themselves on women who love it. That's what romance normal. Yeah, so it's. And what romance means now, in a dating sense, just means men bribing women to be with them.
That's all it means now. There's almost there's actually no real romance left.
Yeah. The term, the usage of the term has actually changed over the years.
Yeah.
Into something else. Yeah.
To romantic love itself. Though the divorce rates have been declining in the US, they are still high at 50%.
But also the marriage rates are declining. Yes. So that's maybe one of the reasons why divorce is declining.
It's probably not going to decline completely. It's just going to bottom out and stay around that level. That might have happened. It's got there's always going to be a subset of men who are able to bribe women. be with them, and they're always going to get married. And these subset of men will just never learn.
Yes, that happens
Unfortunately.
all the I see it all the time.
Yes.
Percent of marriages ending in divorce.
Oh, by the way, it used to be what, once or twice, but the guys get married twice and thrice is
Yes.
ballooning up.
Yes. And you get loads of high status men who get married like 6 times
Yes.
and never learn.
And marriage rates have been declining in the US.
Oh, but also it just shows you that the average guy probably wouldn't learn. He just doesn't have.
Okay. So marriage rates are declining as well, but I thought marriage is forced upon women, and that men were exploiting women out of marriage. This actually doesn't make sense from our own narrative. So why would it be if it's this patriarchal institution that men can shackle women into? Why aren't more women getting married against their will? Because it's obviously complete nonsense. That's why.
US as well. Is this a failure of romantic love, or is it the failure of the institution of marriage itself?
Yeah, it was a failure of men to gain enough status to bribe women.
Yes. Yeah.
The nuclear family especially troublesome is the expectation of adults to leave their birth families and establish themselves elsewhere.
No.
Okay. No, actually, it is expected because it's expected of men, right? Because families kick out surplus men all the time, right? And it's expected as well because you're the loser living in your mother's basement, so to speak, right? And you want a girlfriend. Hey, live with me in the basement with me, because you just love me for who I am and my personal qualities, and we've got a chemistry, and there's a sparkle in my eyes. You know what I mean? You just love my humor and the lines in my eyes, and my smile, my nice white teeth. We just love each other innately. You just live with me in my mother's basement, because that happens all the time, obviously, right? No. What happens is men have to establish themselves. They have to get their own living space, and they've got to have status. One of the rights into manhood, in the eyes of many, is a man able to buy his own living space, and that's one of the most important things. It's not spoken about. Like you see a lot of luxury houses being built, right? And it's men building them so they can get women to move in with them, and this is what women demand.
Yes.
And also the nuclear family exists because women want to kick out surplus relatives, especially surplus men. Like women don't want like surplus uncles and nephews.
Well, that's why I said that it's not forced. The women want it that way.
Well, I think it is forced. It's forced upon men.
Well, yeah, I know.
What I meant.
That's what we're saying.
Yes.
We're actually agreeing.
And to create their own home. This is another venture that requires capital. Moreover, any children born to a couple are financially dependent on them until they reach the age of 18. The nuclear family is built upon financial dependency. It is also entirely...
The nuclear family is the structure of the family that the women demand. Briffault's law, women shape the conditions of the family. That's Briffault's law. So
that's what I was saying earlier.
Yes. I forgot about Briffault's law. Yes. Right. So it's completely on you, women, 100%.
Yeah.
I know. I'm going to make another point. Sorry. Before I forget, this is important. Let me make this other point. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
If you women do not like the nuclear family, right, what you could do, you could live in a community. You could all get a commune, all the men and women. All right. You can still pair up. You don't have to sexually share with each other if you're not comfortable. But you have a commune community, right? You all share it. You'll pool your resources. You'll share resources. You have community meals, right? Dinners, right? Okay, etc. Let's say it's like 150 people. You live in a community of 150 people. It's one big shared community. You're all friends. You all know each other. You're all intimate. Not necessarily sexually. You could have that. But why doesn't it happen? Because you don't want it.
Yes. Actually,
and the thing,
there were communes in like the 60s and 70s, and they fell apart.
What happened? I think what happened is, I think what happened, Charles Manson is an extreme example. They all ended up as harems, basically. So what happened is the women would boot the surplus men out they considered losers, and just keep the men they liked, and it would be like more women than men. That's what happened, I think. So they collapsed.
Of course.
Women do not like surplus men. They're actually hostile to them. They want to ostracize them and exclude them and marginalize them, right?
Yes. Hmm.
Convenience of our industrial bosses. We leave behind our roots in our villages so that we can start fresh in the industrial hellscapes that most modern cities are.
Wow.
Most people stopped living in villages a long time ago, right? And no. We're going to explain. I'm going to explain to you why people move to cities, and it's not going to be flattering to women again. Yeah. Okay. Women move into cities to look for high status men, right? And they want to ditch low status country bumpkin males who live in the countryside. Yeah. And they want oh no, so what do women want from their men? They don't want just well, let's talk about provision. What is provision exactly? Because this is very important. What is provision? What is provision? Sorry. What is provision? What is provision when women get provided for? I've got to explain this.
Right.
When we talk about provision, it's not men going hunting game and giving them meat. It's not men getting money and going to the supermarket and buying them food, right? Provision is money, but provision is social status symbols, right? And the most expensive, prestigious houses and living quarters are in the city, right? And that's what women want. They want expensive cars, they want expensive apartments, they want expensive fashion, they want expensive clothes, they want jewelry, right? And they want high status men, prestigious careers like professors or authors or minor celebrities or major celebrities. That's what women want, right? And women move into cities to get that.
Yes.
So this is all like.
Back up here.
Yeah.
There was a particular. I was watching a documentary where it was China, and this guy, his parents wanted to try to go to the city to find him a bride and bring her back and be his wife, and they couldn't do it because the women didn't want to come.
Yes, they don't want low status.
Yeah.
So what she's doing, she's blaming on capitalism. What's the result of female choice? Women don't. Oh, I want to stay in this village, this humble, quiet life, and just couple up with a humble, compassionate, ethical man who doesn't do anyone any harm, who's the salt of the earth. Women don't think like that. And
no, that's
they're proving
not
it with their actions.
Their drive.
Yeah, and she's trying to blame this on capitalism. Like, look, yeah.
Oh, by the way, it also shows you, since the guy's mother, the one I was talking about, wanted this happen, most women have no self-awareness of their own motivations.
Yes, or they deny them because they know it looks bad.
Of course.
My own take on the nuclear family.
What's that?
Because that woman who supported Me Too, right? She got very angry when I said she lacked self-awareness. She went berserk.
Yeah, yes.
She never forgave me for that.
Maybe controversial. Women are the primary caregivers for children, so it is only natural that children bond deeper with their mothers than with their fathers.
So basically, okay. I'm going to say from my own personal experience, I was dying for a father as a kid. I would love to have a father. Actually, I loved older men as a kid and I loved playing with them and being around them. And I loved my mother, but I preferred men, actually. I think a lot of boys are like that, to be honest. So this is actually psychopathic on so many different levels. First of all, it's complete lack of regard for the children, not asking what they actually want. They don't give a shit about them, right? They want to bond with us more because I say so. First of all, the women are gatekeeping the fathers away from the children, right? But whatever, if the father's with the family, he's still working all the time, right? And quite often they're just alienated from the family anyway after the divorce. So they're alienating the fathers away from the children and go, oh, look, we bond with us better. So it's circular logic, basically. So, So why do children like being with mothers better? Because they're with us more. Why are they with us more? Because they like to bond with us more. It's circular logic. It makes one lick of sense.
They kick the fathers out, and that's why they're with the mothers. And of course, you're going to bond with the only person that's there.
Yes.
It also makes sense that most of the single parents in the world are single mothers. It goes a bit deeper, though. I would say
How does
that
it make, why does this make sense? Why? Like you just say something, you don't go further into it.
Yeah.
It just makes sense because it is. Right. So no. The single mothers, right? It's not. I think she's trying to say it makes sense for most single mothers to be parents, most single parents to be mothers because children bond with their children better. But single mothers are not single mothers because of that reason. They go they better be with me because they bond with me better. Single mothers go, this guy's a loser. I'm getting rid of him, and I want child support. That's how it works. It's nothing to do with what the children wants. In fact, there's family courts, there's female daughters going, I'd rather be with the father. I like the father better. And they ignore the daughter and they give it to the mother.
Of course.
Right? There's daughters going on YouTube. They turn 16 or 18 when they can talk about it legally and they talk about it. So it's nothing to do with what the children want. And you claim it's to do with what the children want. It's gaslighting and lies. And you're speaking over children to promote your own narrative and to promote gender roles that benefits you. You're disgusting. Yeah. Your behavior is disgusting. Shame on you.
only assured parent of a child is the mother. The paternity of children.
No. The only assured parent of the no. The only assured parent of the child is a mother. Bullshit. You could have a test. You can have a test. Right, and also, what's assuredness got to do with anything anyway, right? So let's say there's a stepdad. Let's say there's a stepdad and there's a mother, right? And the mother beats the children, whips them with barbed wire, strangles them, starves them, right? But she's a biological mother, and you've got a stepdad who never abuses his children. Who's the child going to be better off with? The stepdad.
Yeah, of course.
And also it's been proven by studies that biological mothers actually abuse their children more than stepdads do.
You know, they love to paint the stepdad as a pedophile most of the time.
Look, stepdads do abuse the children more than biological fathers, but it's still far less than biological mothers. And I think the group that abuses their children the most are actually stepmothers. So I think that puts the kibosh on the natural caregiving instincts, right?
Yeah,
Cinderella was right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Certain, unless it is DNA tested. So, in this context,
unless it's DNA tested. Okay, so why can't we do that then?
Yeah. Yes.
Can I say something? Can I say something? I would love to live in a society that gives custody of the children to fathers because I think it would be better.
Yeah.
Actually, I prefer that to the current system because it's a work. Look, you either have equal shared parenting or you give it to the fathers. Those are the two best systems. Right, because so women have actually proven themselves to be narcissistic, child-abusing failures when it comes to being parents. They've proven it. They don't care about children. They only care about themselves.
I will say this against fathers. The one thing against fathers is that they tend to, when they get the kids, they tend to try and find a new mommy for themselves and say it's for the kids. You know.
Yes.
Externally imposed authority. One whose sole expectation is to share the financial burden of raising children, and one that does not take equal share.
Let's go back. Can you go back 10 seconds?
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, let me just break this up here. Right there. Here we go.
Post authority. One whose sole.
Go back another 10 seconds.
Yeah, let's try 20 right here. Let's try here.
The paternity of children is never explicitly certain unless it is DNA tested. So, in this context, the father figure is an externally imposed authority, one whose sole expectation is to share the financial burden of raising children, and one that does not take equal share in child rearing.
Pause. So, no, he's not an external authority opposed on the woman. Do you see how they're trying to frame it in the most negative manner possible? Very disgusting. Right? He's not opposed upon authority. He's bribing himself. No, he's bribing the woman.
Yes.
Be with the woman. He's bribing.
She's free to refuse at any time. So
yes. Yeah, he's not an opposing upon authority. And yes, also she's talking about like it's gender neutral. Oh yeah, men are just expected to financially provide. There's countless millions of low-status men who don't have jobs or don't have any money who would love to have a family, who would love to be with a woman and not have to bribe her to be with her. Period.
Yeah.
Right? There was a time I was in that boat. Right, I would love to have children, but I'm too old now, and I don't want to be with a woman to raise one. I wouldn't trust one. to be honest.
Of course not.
But if I was a millionaire, I'd probably adopt some children and raise them as well as I could, right? But men would love to be without a woman, would love to have the family without having to bribe her. I love you for who you are. We'll make it work somehow. I just love you. Men would love to have
Love
that.
By the way, I'm not even quite sure, even if you were a millionaire, if they would allow a single man.
Yeah,
to-
exactly.
You know,
Yes.
that Annie Oakley, or no, that's the what's the one where the rich guy, Annie. I'm screwing it up, but you know what I mean. Let's get on with this.
However, the father gets to claim the children as his own heirs, profiting from
No, he
their
doesn't.
labor.
Yeah.
No, okay. First of all, all right, first of all, he doesn't get to claim their own heirs, and also he doesn't profit from their labour. Right? You don't profit from children's labour in the first world. You only used to profit from your children's labour when you lived in farming societies in the past.
Exactly. In the past, exactly.
Yes. Well, this analysis yours is complete fucking nonsense. It's like you read social studies about the history of anthropology and you've mixed it in with modern analysis. It doesn't make any sense. It's like you have no understanding of how capitalist third world countries work, but you do have understanding. You're just lying. Let's be real here.
Of course. You know, the children, people want children for the same, because they want children. You know, they're not getting anything out of the kids.
Yes. Can I just say something?
Sure.
Actually, pause. There's less people having children for financial reasons in the past. It still happens in third world countries, but I'm glad that there's less financial incentive to have children than ever. Women still have it, which has to be removed, but men who have children tend to have only children because they want children. We need to change the system that bad mothers don't get rewarded for having children. I only want parents who want to have children for the sake of having children to have them, period. And I don't care if the population drops because of this.
Yeah, if women had to get equal responsibility for it and pay the same as the guys 100%, only the ones that would really want the children would go for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Naturally, I have to ask this question. For the proletariat that don't have property to inherit and no legacy to leave behind, and especially for women, what is...
But men aren't inheriting property.
A question, the proletariat, again, she's using a gender neutral term.
Yes.
Right? It's completely disingenuous and completely dishonest. The proletariat, right? First of all, okay, what's the point of marriage? Proletariat men are less likely to get married, working class men, right? Because they've got less to bribe women with, right? What's the point of marriage? Also, men and women are different. There's different points for different sexes. The point of marriage for men, from the man's point of view, it's a flawed understanding of what it is. The point of marriage is to get the woman and be with her exclusively and have her in his life. The point of marriage for women is to gain access to status and resources.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the point of marriage.
But like you say, the man isn't getting that.
Yes.
He's not getting his due. It's only the girl.
Yes. And the point of marriage in the past was to make coupling with a woman respectable. And it was actually, marriage in the past was actually to restrict men. The whole concept of illegitimate and legitimate children was to benefit the illegitimate wife, basically, and tie one man down to a woman, a legitimate woman. Because really, if you think about it, it would have benefited high status men just to have a harem of women and provide for them. Especially if you're ultra rich, you could just bang them, impregnate them, and get the servants to look after the kids. But it wasn't framed like that. Yeah. And as time moved along, it became more and more disreputable for people to have illegitimate wives. Like, but by the time of the 19th and 20th century, men were expected to have one legitimate wife. They weren't allowed to play around. Like Prince Albert was married to Queen Victoria. He wasn't a player with a harem of women while he was married to Queen Victoria, was he? You know. Yeah. And like the modern kings are not players, right? When they like, for example, Prince Charles, he wasn't in love with Princess Diana. He married Camilla. It was a scandal. It was a scandal. He wasn't, oh yeah, you're a player. You go dog. You have those multiple women. You bang those hoes. Yeah. It wasn't like that, was it? Of course. He had to be respectable. He had to tie himself down to one woman. That's how it works. Yeah.
Point of marriage. What is monogamous marriage if not a means to exploit the reproductive capabilities of women?
Fuck off.
Yes.
You debunked that. Fuck you.
How can encouraging women to leave the so-called comfort comforts of their home to go into the workplace.
So if a woman's banging multiple guys and she got pregnant,
Yes.
what's her big game? See,
Yes.
I'm not married. I've been sleeping around with a bunch of guys and I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Now what do I do? You know?
Yeah.
Really help to liberate women. The hyper-focus of contemporary feminism on the fake liberation of women is what makes me distance myself from the movement.
Wow.
Because
she's-
what she is, she's actually a tradcon.
Yes.
Actually, she's a tradcon feminist hybrid. And what she's saying is, she's making a mistake here. She's taking feminists too literally in the rhetoric, and she's actually worried that women will force lazy women like her to work just as much as men. That's one of her fears. So she's going to try and cling on to motherhood, but while simultaneously calling it oppression forced upon her. But she's going to want the benefits of motherhood.
Yes. So, like you say, she's not even calling her a feminist, but she's twice as bad as any feminist I've ever heard, other than
Yes.
maybe the
Well,
ones.
I think she's still calling her feminist. I think she's still a feminist, sort of, but she's just not a liberal feminist. I think she probably considers herself a radical Marxist feminist or something like that, because her analysis sounds superficially very Marxist-like. She's in terms like bourgeoisie and proletariat.
Well,
stuff
by
like
the way, this is why so many right wingers vehemently stick to their idea that feminism comes from Marxism and the left. This is why they say it.
Well, they say that, but at the end of the day, they do call everything leftist Marxist anyway.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Yes.
The push for financial independence, careers, representation in media and politics all serve to make women not only into consumers but into commodities themselves.
What?
Wow.
The more the woman strives for independence, the more the man resists it because of his selfish interest.
No, men actually don't resist this. Actually, because actually, if men were resisting this, they'll actually fight against affirmative action. They'll actually fight for affirmative action for men. They'll go, right, all the high status jobs that pay well goes to men first. Period. If men were really fighting against, they're not. Men have never been fighting against this. Right?
This
It was
guy-
actually, for example, let me give you an example. This is very important. When the tradcon men, the right wing men, and it depends what country. In some countries, it was right past it. In some countries, it was left. But various countries passed no fault divorce because women demanded it, and it undermined the bribing position of men in relationships. But men still passed it at a time when the majority of men in power in parliament were men.
Of course.
So men have not been fighting against this. Period. It's a lie.
By the way, this guy she's showing here, he's not fighting politically in any way to get women in the kitchen. He would like to have this woman in the kitchen.
He's posturing. He thinks
He's posturing.
what these men think is only loser men want to force women into the kitchen. You get women in the kitchen by being good providers and performing as a good man, and then they'll willingly go to the kitchen and submit. That's what he's thinking, because the mental defects, they don't understand cause and effect. Yeah,
exactly. Like I said, but they're not fighting politically in any way to try and get women there. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's.
Her reproductive capacity. And so the modern woman faces double exploitation, both from their capitalist.
I'm sorry. I've just noticed contradiction again.
Sure.
There's many of them I've probably missed. Okay. She talks about a woman's reproductive capacity being like a net bonus to men. They profit from it. But then she says, oh, when you have kids, you've got to look after them. They're a net drain. You've got to pay for them.
Yeah.
There's a contradiction that doesn't make any sense. So on one hand, men profit from having kids, but they're a net drain. Hang on. If it's men paying for them, how is having kids a profit?
Yes, of course. In the past, people had kids to work on the farm. They were but now they're not. So there's nothing. There's nothing for men to gain from children other than that they like children.
Yes.
And from their families at home.
Oh, one other thing. The dummies who actually believe getting a woman pregnant will keep her around.
Yes.
It is degrading that to capitalist society, women are just dependent consumers and baby-making factories.
No. That's just no. They're not that under capitalism. They got more rights than men, right? Okay, and they get privileged access to the job market as that than men, and they're celebrated for just existing. A woman is celebrated for being a housewife. A woman's celebrated just for working, right? A woman's celebrated for being a mediocre celebrity, right? What's degrading is men being reduced to bill-paying niggers, yeah? Right? That's what men are reduced to, okay? We're bill-paying Negroes. We're the lowest of the low, and we don't perform. We're seen as dog shit by society, right? And you women are, you'll never understand. You don't want to understand, so therefore you'll never understand. And you are the cause of this. You're the cause of it with the gender roles that you enforce on men. If you stop enforcing these gender roles on men, this attitude will change and disappear.
Yeah. Okay. I know we got a couple of minutes left, but it's late.
What did she
here.
say?
What's that?
Did she say anything important? Like,
No, I haven't listened to the very end, but the thing is, I got to cut it short. So I think
I think we've just about covered this. I think
Yeah.
we've ripped her apart. And I've got to say, I just want to say, to finish up, this is one of the most hilariously bad feminist videos I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yes, it hits every mark.
Yes, it's a condescended, pure feminist venom and gaslighting. Because this woman is malicious towards men in her lies.
Yes, exactly. This is the kind of thing that would drive a aware man insane, off the
Yes.
band,
Yes, to be honest, I would not have been able to listen to this on my own. It drove me crazy.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
disgusting. Okay, we're going to end it here. And thank you very much for tackling with this. I would say you did the brunt of the work, but
Right. Yeah, that's me being oppressed. I'm the beast of burden,
oh, yes.
emotional labor, stuff like that.
Oh, there was just so much packed into this 12 minutes.
Yeah, I think so contradictory as well.
Yes. Well, they always have to be.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. And it's good to debunk this garbage.
Yes.
Goodbye, sir. And come on, end the meeting.